With regard to frightening TV episodes and films, there are both classics and absolute stinkers. Fortunately, horror is a genre in which the medium particularly shines. We've compiled a list of the most spine-tingling, spooky anime series available, whether you're in the mood for something extra spooky because Halloween is just around the corner or just because. You're about to go deeply into the greatest horror anime series ever, so grab a blanket. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell icon for more informative videos. Number 15. Ghost Hunt. After accidentally breaking one of their video cameras, high school girl Mai Taniyama teams up with Kazuya Shibuya and the Shibuya Psychic Research Organization. After assisting in the investigation of a weird old structure at her school, she comes to terms with her own psychic abilities and learns she has latent abilities she may use for good. Through the course of this friendly spooky series, she and the crew set out on expeditions to discover and expel hauntings. It is great for anyone looking for a softer, more eerie good time, even though it is less frightening than the other items on this list. Number 14. Another. And fantastic entry point into Japanese horror is Another. It chronicles a string of odd, horrifying fatalities involving a puzzling group of students and has more of a filmic feel than an episodic adventure. One curious transfer student is entrusted with discovering why his friends keep passing away. But there's one particular girl with an eye patch, and she seems to be the only one who might possibly understand what might be going on. She's the key to getting in touch with the spirits circling about them, since she can interact with the supernatural world. This spooky story is a thrilling supernatural adventure that is excellent for anyone who are new to horror anime. Number 13. Berserk. For those willing to go out of their way to locate the original 1997 anime, Berserk is one of the most well-known and challenging to access series. The series, which is based on the legendary manga by Kentaro Miura, which is renowned for its incredibly detailed artwork and complex plots, and was never completed before Miura's untimely death at the age of 54, begins during an alternate universe 100 Years' War and follows a young mercenary named Guts, who wields a comically large sword as he joins the dreaded Band of the Hawk, led by the enigmatically charismatic Griffith. What at first seems to be a masterfully told tale about the horrors of war transforms into a horrific, demon-infested dark fantasy. Despite the fact that Netflix has created a 3-movie CGI rendition of the series arc, the 1997 version of Berserk is still well worth searching out, if only for the superb, moving opening and closing themes. Number 12. Black Butler. The 13-year-old head of the Phantom Hive family is Seal Phantom Hive. Despite being young, he belongs to a prominent family that supports Queen Victoria of England. He works with the Queen's police to solve murders in the unsavory parts of London, and is a superb investigator in the mold of Sherlock Holmes, but he doesn't do it alone. In order to discover the person who killed his parents and exact retribution, Beale has a contract with a demon named Sebastian Michaelis, who is standing by his side. He will eventually consume Seal's soul, but not before he protects Beale and his estate while posing as a butler. Both Black Butler and some of the circumstances the Jew encounters are genuinely terrifying. Number 11. Boogiepop Phantom. Anthology series Boogiepop Phantom is tied together by the character Boogiepop, who is said to be death embodied in urban legends. The murders that Boogiepop is initially held responsible for are a string of ritualistic killings that occur in the Japanese city where the program is set. Is Boogiepop evil, or even genuine, to be honest? Given that this series veers in and out of reality, it is challenging to determine. This bizarre urban fantasy will keep you wondering, but it's also filled with the kind of horror that keeps you up at night trying to figure it out. Number 10. Castlevania. Vlad Dracula Tapis was killed off by the show at the conclusion of the second season, but he continued to haunt viewers for the next 2 seasons despite rarely making an appearance. Despite the fact that Dracula was notably absent for more than half of Netflix's Dracula anime, the series never lost sight of what originally inspired it all: the most powerful vampire in the world falling in love before having his love taken from him. Since Netflix is preparing a new series set in the same universe as Castlevania, it makes sense that the world that the game series spent the majority of its time creating will endure in some capacity after 4 seasons. Number 9. Corpse Party: Tortured Souls. a glimpse inside the lives of the pupils of Kisaragi Academy, formerly Heavenly Host Elementary. The scene of the horrific killings of both children and its personnel can be found in Corpse Party, Tortured Souls. Students there decide to carry out a weird ritual to guarantee that they would always be with a friend who is going to transfer to another school while they spend their last moments together. The Sachiko Ever After charm is used, but all the students end up passing out and waking up in the same academy where all the kids and teachers were killed years earlier. Number 8. Deadman Wonderland. A bizarre, bloody apparition appears outside the window of the middle school classroom where Ganta Igareshi, a young man, is enrolled. This so-called Red Man decimates Ganta's entire class in a matter of seconds. Ganta escapes harm, but the Red Man embeds a peculiar red crystal shard in his chest. Sadly, Ganta is held accountable for the massacre and given the punishment of spending the rest of his days at the prison theme park Deadman Wonderland. He is compelled to scrape out a living there as a deadman, a prisoner responsible for amusing guests. He's desperate to figure out how to escape after realizing he has a new ability over his own blood dubbed a branch of sin, while battling scores of other deadmen, each of which has their own horrifying abilities. Number 7. Death Note. It is monotonous in the scant realm of the Shinigami, or death gods. Chaos breaks out in the living world when Shinigami Ryuk loses his Death Note, a lethal notepad that can kill anyone if the owner knows the target's name and face. Ryuk enters the human world to encourage Light Yagami, who initially experiments with the Death Note with the noble intention of eradicating crime, but slowly turns into a villain as he becomes overwhelmed with power and the idea of becoming a god. Light Yagami is a top student who just so happens to find the deadly notebook. This shonen classic is horrifying since it centers on a man who gradually changes from light into the infamous serial killer Kira, and the police's attempts to apprehend him. Number 6. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Aside from his sister Nezuko, who transforms into a half-demon, Tanjiro Kamado's entire family is viciously mauled in the first episode of one of the most popular anime phenomena since Attack on Titan. Although the show allows for quieter, more somber episodes to underscore Tanjiro's profound compassion, the demon battles are what the series is really known for, as Tanjiro slices through anyone in his path in an effort to discover a means to transform Nezuko back into a human. Number 5. Devilman Crybaby. One of the best recent remakes of an anime series is this interpretation of a Go Nagai classic. Akira Fudo, the movie's titular crybaby, is a bully magnet because of his good nature, but Ryo Asuka, his best friend, tries to help him shed this image in an unhelpful way. Ryo knows there are demons in the world, and he has the evidence to back it up. Poor Akira is thrust into the middle of it all as he uses a special power to draw demons out of humans. Akira consequently transforms into a Devilman, a demon with the ability to maintain its human attributes while gaining tremendous power from a demonic form. Since Ryo intends to control the world with Akira at his side as a tool, his acts were hardly selfless. The outcome? A unique creation by Masaki Yuasa, a gory ballet of murder, gore, sex, and psychedelic imagery. Number 4. Elfen Lied. The sorrowful and disturbing novel Elfen Lied chronicles a series of occurrences following experimentation on the Diclonius, a mutant human born with telekinetic abilities and horns. The main character of the show, Lucy, has a dual personality, which allows her to either use phantom hands to murder everyone in her immediate vicinity or win people over as her alter ego, the kind, modest New. Although this gory voyage is undoubtedly not for the faint of heart, by the time it eventually slows down, you'll be gasping for air because of its heartbreaking story. Number 3. Powers of Evil. Takao Kasuga is an average high school student who enjoys hanging out with his friend Nanako Saiki and reading Charles Baudelaire. He still feels isolated from his peers. Until he meets the Obsowa Nakamura, Saiki is the only shining star in his life. He is both shocked and enthralled by their conversations, especially after Nakamura discovers him stealing Saiki's workout attire. She forces Kasuga into a contract where he is obligated to follow her instructions, which leads to an incredibly personal and terrifying examination of Kasuga's character, as well as her own obsession with removing the layers of skin the two of them are concealing. Although it isn't a standard horror film, It will bend your mind with its serious character study and exquisite rotoscopic animation. Number 2. From the New World. From the New World, also known as Shin Sekai Yori, one of the most underrated series from the 2010s, weaves coming-of-age stories and fantasy into a post-apocalyptic horror nightmare. This series tells a complete and heartbreaking story in 3 parts: childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, about the stress of being left behind, disappearing people, pervasive surveillance, and an impending apocalypse in an expertly paced manner. It is set in a school for students to foster magical abilities, where classmates stop showing up with no explanation for where they've gone. Number 1. Gantz. Masaru Kato and Kei Kurono find themselves playing a bizarre new game among other recently deceased people after dying in a terrible train accident. They are tasked by a massive black sphere known as Gantz to find and destroy aliens while armed with futuristic weaponry and equipment. According to Gantz's regulations, they hope to reach 100 points and, at the conclusion of the game, perhaps be able to resume their regular lives. Gantz is one of the goriest and most unsettling anime shows out there, and it has some very upsetting scenes. However, it maintains its interest till the very end, making it a must-see for everyone who like the genre. That's it for today, guys. What did you think of the video? Please share with us in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell icon for more incredible videos.